another edition of Snappy Sundays with darling Nickie here on Transcribers FTM. This week I have a special guest with me. This is Gabe, my partner. If you've never seen any of my personal videos or any of his personal videos on his channel, then you might not have ever seen him before. So this is Gabe. And hi Gabe.
Hi.
And this week we are talking about changes in ourselves. Last week we talked about changes in our partners, and so this week we're focusing on the changes that have come about in ourselves throughout our partner's transition. And I thought, I know somebody who's a Nickie expert who should be on the video this week. So Gabe's here to talk about me. That's weird.
Yeah.
Hello. Okay, so one of the first questions is, how have your feelings about gender on the whole changed, if at all? And my feelings about gender have definitely changed since Gabe came out. Before Gabe came out as being trans, I really viewed gender as being sort of binary, sort of black and white. Either you were male or you were female, and there wasn't necessarily anything in between. I recognized that there were transgendered people, but I don't know, I really just thought it was so black and white. And through understanding Gabe's identity and getting to know other trans people and doing research and reading and watching documentaries and things like that, I've learned that there are so many other genders besides male or female, and there are so many genders that lie sort of in between that, in the gray area, if you will. And so, yeah, I think my view about gender has definitely changed. Do you want to add anything about that? Oh, okay.
Sorry.
There you have it. In our first take, Gabe had mentioned that even people who are traditionally or like completely one gender, male or female, they still exhibit characteristics of the opposite gender. So everybody exhibits male and female characteristics regardless, right? Is that what you were kind of saying?
No, not really.
What were you saying? Explain.
I said that even people with really solid male or female identities still exhibit masculine and feminine traits.
Right.
So you can't really necessarily label a gender binary. It's not really fair.
Yes. Thank you for being so much more eloquent than I am and explaining what you meant. Thank you. The next question I'll answer is, do you feel as though your friends or friend group or your community have changed? How and why? And our friend group has definitely changed. When Gabe came out as trans, honestly, our straight friends understood it and took it a lot better than our queer friends. Yeah.
Yeah, like, for example, we had a party last night, and we invited some new friends, some old friends, our older friends, our queer friends that we've had for a few years now, and who we knew as a couple before I came out, and they didn't come, and they've been consistently blowing us off, and when we do see them, they are really not very comfortable with us. They have a hard time accepting my identity and the fact that Nickie's okay with my identity and that Nickie supports me, and they have a lot of questions, and they're not always polite about them. It can be really uncomfortable sometimes, and so we as a couple are just not really hanging out with who we used to, just due to our comfort level.
The majority of our newer friends are trans people and the partners of these trans people, and honestly, it's just more comfortable, not because we want to sit around and talk about transition all the time, but because we can sit around and not talk about transition all the time. And you know, being around our queer friends, a lot of times we just have to talk about the transition all the time, and they're always like, "How do you feel about it?" Like to me, and I'm like, "What? Why? I mean, we like to talk about it, we like to educate people, and we like to keep people up to date and informed on what's going on, but we don't. Our lives don't revolve around the transition per se. Even though that's all you see of us on YouTube, it's really not all that we do or talk about. Mm-hmm. So yeah, that's, I don't know. It makes it more comfortable for us to be around other trans people and their partners.
Right. We don't have to talk about genitals and my plans for my genitals and what Nickie would like to see become of my genitals and how Nickie feels about my genitals and what's going on with this surgery and do you want to have that and are you planning on this? And we're like, oh, just enough.
Yeah.
Stop. You just came for a drink.
So our friend group's changed. My friend group has changed, definitely.
Right.
How have your feelings about your own gender or sexual orientation changed, if at all? My feelings about my gender have definitely not changed. I've always been extremely feminine. I've always been female identified. I consider myself fortunate in that I haven't had to struggle with my gender identity in the way that Gabe has, and so I'm always wanting to learn about what he went through in his struggle, because I don't understand it, but I want to understand it. I want to know what you've gone through with that. But my views about my sexual orientation, I guess, have kind of changed in a way. Before Gabe was out as trans and we were in a relationship, we were both lesbian identified, I guess. And that never really suited me. While I knew that I loved Gabe and wanted to be with him, I just didn't feel that lesbian really identified like who I am, so to speak. I always pictured my future being, I always knew I wanted to be a mother, and I wanted my partner to be a father. And I didn't know how to reconcile that with the fact that I was in a relationship, a long-term relationship, with somebody who was at the time female identified, I guess. And so I really struggled with reconciling those two sort of conflicting ideas. I never saw myself as being somebody who would be like two mommies. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think it's great for a lot of people. I just didn't view myself that way, and I didn't see that for myself. But I knew that I loved him, and so I didn't know how to identify. So yeah, since Gabe has come out as trans, it's really been liberating, I think, for both of us to be able to identify in the way that we really, really feel suits us. Yeah. That pretty much sums that up. How have your feelings about your boyfriend or partner changed now that he's transitioning, or since you've learned of his trans identity? I don't know that my feelings for him have changed. I've always loved him very much, and more than I've ever loved anybody else. So I don't know that my feelings have changed, but I will say that our relationship has become significantly easier. And this kind of goes along with the next question, which is, do you feel you behave any differently now that your partner or boyfriend is transitioning? I feel like those kind of go hand in hand, because our relationship has just become so much easier. It's like we're both so much happier with ourselves and are therefore so much happier with each other. We used to fight a lot.
And Nickie was really mean to me.
I was mean, because I was really...
She was really mean to me for kind of a long time. I mean...
Yeah.
And it wasn't like every day, she had something terrible to say to me. It's just we would go through these...
phases, sort of.
Periods of time where it was like everything was wrong, and we were both looking for different things to be happening in our relationship, and it just was bad.
It was bad for a while. I mean, it was sort of up and down. There were really, really, really good times, and then there were some times that were just really, really bad.
Yeah.
And it was because, I mean, I can't say exactly why it is. I don't know that you can explain your feelings or actions even retrospectively, but I think that part of it was that I was not happy. I was just not, and it wasn't that I wasn't happy with you, because I was in love with you and I was happy being with you, but I just knew that something somewhere was not clicking, something somewhere was just not right. So yeah, I was mean, and it was always something.
It was always something.
But it's better now.
Always something with you.
It's better now, though, isn't it?
Yes.
So how is it better? How is it different?
Well,
we have 1 minute.
I don't know. You're nicer to me, and you are willing to be affectionate with me out in public. And I don't know. There are not all kinds of ridiculous expectations for me to fulfill for you.
Yeah.
I'm just happy.
I'm just happy. I'm just much happier. It's good.
So.
Well, Gabe, thanks for being on my video this week. And that's all for this week on Snappy Sundays with Darling Nickie. And I'll see you all next week.